Okay, so let's work with some assumptions. There is what we call please let's be together. So when we are talking about a website, let me start from there. A website has two components. Before you see what you call a website, there are usually two components involved. So one of the components is called domain name. So one of the components is called domain name. The other side of it is called hosting. Domain name is the part. So let me increase, let me use MS Word so we could increase it. Please, can we all see the screen? Yes. Okay, so we have domain name, we have hosting. Domain name and hosting gives us a website. So domain name is what all of us do call www.class.com. This is what is actually known as a domain name, but this is what generally everybody calls the website. Are we following? Yes, but before you see a finished site, like what we saw earlier, uniport.edu.ng. Okay, so this is a finished site now. So before you see this site, a lot of things have been taken into consideration. So in hosting, we are assuming using your laptop as a sample. So all those, if you recall last week, when we tried to do a kind of scanning of the Uniport site, you saw something that has to do with file manager. Do you remember that? That showed us that there's actually a space located somewhere where all the files on that website are located, where we found the logo, we found something like plugins, we found something like themes, where you saw ///. So once you see that, it means that the files are coming in from somewhere. That somewhere can be my laptop. So my laptop may be what in web design we call hosting, the hosting platform. Hosting platform is where are the files being shown online located. It can be this laptop. Last semester we wrote CBT exams in class, and if you recall, my laptop then was the hosting or the file server. So a website, before it comes online, we have the domain name pulling out files from the hosting. This hosting has several other components. We have what is called the file manager compartment, and we also have what is called the database compartment. This file manager has to do with the raw files which we can all see and understand clearly. The database now, in web design, database must sometimes always be there. The database is now where, let's say, passwords, file structure, table structure. Please, who does a bit of programming, coding, software here? One person. Who else? Okay, 2. 3. So you know what is called database, right? So database is where all those other things are saved. So this is very interesting for an attacker. Remember last class I told us, before you even get to know about hacking or ethical hacking, you must first of all be very conversant with the technologies or the platforms that we use. That was why we had to talk about social media, Facebook, talk about collaboration tools, Google Drive. So today our focus is on websites, particularly content management platforms. Content management platforms are known as what some people call templates that you build upon to get a website. Meaning, sometimes you call it what you see is what you get. It's usually used by a lot of people that don't have programming languages. Like that report site, as we all saw. Some of you may have seen that site before now and start saying badass programmers. From what we exposed last week, the person that did it actually bought a template. As we saw, then started modifying the template. I will show us where he bought that template. So for a website, we have talked about the domain name, we have talked about the hosting. Now we now said for the hosting, for the site to come alive, there must be a file manager component and a database component. For domain name now, we may not buy it, but I'll just show you something about it. So people usually purchase domain names from several service providers. It does not just fall from somewhere. For instance, I just want to Google purchase a domain name in Nigeria. So you can see several websites coming up to purchase a domain name. Probably I want to use, you can decide to click any of them. Let's say I want to click, I'm looking for a very cheap one. There's one I usually know called Upperlink. Domains.upperlink.ng.
Morning, please, are you around?
Yes, I'm outside.
Okay, no problem. I needed MTN router. No, I just needed your MTN router. Okay.
Okay, I've gone to the site now. So domains.upperlink.ng, this is where lots of clients or people usually purchase their domain from. So usually to purchase a domain from any provider, they may always require you to own an account with them. Please, let's lessen the noise. So see the process here. You'll be asked to search out a domain name. So let me assume I want to buy www.cyberclassyear2.com.ng. So yes, I've been told that cyberclassyear2.com is available. Let me try .ng. So some people buy these domain names based on the price. So let me try .info. Info is unavailable, but cyberclass.xyz is 4,600 naira. y.com.ng is about 7.5. So assuming I have bought the domain name, the next thing I must buy is what we call the hosting. And the cheapest of them is always this one you see, shared hosting. This is always the cheapest. So for now, I'm seeing that if I'm purchasing a hosting of 22,000 naira, please let's look up. They are going to give me 10 gig disk space. This means that they are giving me 10 gig of storage on the internet. So my files must not exceed 10 gig. They are giving me 10 gig of mailbox, that is opening email accounts. And they are also giving me one add-on domain. And they are giving me 2 FTP accounts. Let me explain what FTP account is. This is very, very important in cybersecurity. FTP account is a kind of an account that allows you to access a file manager without necessarily logging to the web hosting. Are we getting that? FTP account is a kind of login that allows us to access a file manager of any website without necessarily logging in to the web hosting platform. And why this is very important is this. Most hackers or ethical hackers, they usually try to get access to at least your FTP account. And once they get access to this, to either create or get an access, they can have access to your file manager and invariably the website, and they can now do whatever they want to do. So it is very, very important that when you get a web hosting, there's always a common error people do. Now, I want to build a website and I don't have the time, or maybe I want to outsource it. I purchase my domain name, purchase my hosting on my own with my own account, and I assume I'm safe. I now give it to one guy there to build the software on that platform. I'm thinking that because I purchased the domain name and hosting, and also because once you finish building the software, I have changed the password to my web hosting, I assume that my site is safe. But as I gave it to him, he simply went in and created an FTP account. And in the next 1 year, you suddenly start seeing that he has overtaken or taken control of your website. What happened? He's accessing your website through the FTP account. So let's go on. With the assumption that I have purchased my FTP, and so we have purchased my hosting and domain name, I will usually be sent a welcome email from the hosting providers, just like this one now. When I purchased a web hosting, I was sent a welcome email. Dear Dan Olokun, read this in full, blah blah blah, this is your username and password, and they will always give you a control panel to your website. So this is my control panel now. I'll open it. This is a control panel to my website. What's my username? They will always give you the username as the content of your mail. Then they also give you the password. Please, let's watch this carefully. This is not actually in our curriculum for today, but I'm just doing it. In fact, for this semester, we are not to do this, but I'm doing it as a follow-up to what we learned last week, so we can link up both of them. So this is how a cPanel looks like. I may not go through everything. If you want to go through it, you can simply purchase a domain name and a hosting, then you get access to this platform. I think a domain name of 4.5, you can get a hosting of 15,000, and it lasts for 1 full year. So once you get it, you can have access to this platform. So on the hosting account, several things are there. You can create personal emails, maybe your name at the website name.com. But for me, our interest is in what we call C database, as I told you here, database and file manager. C file manager, this is where our interest lies for today. File manager and database will make up the website we are going to create today. So I'll first of all open the file manager. You know, I had this platform already, so I want to delete all what is there. So we start from the scratch. Okay, this is my file manager, so I'll delete everything from here. So let's visit that my website I just purchased, zenapet.com.ng. So as you can see, it is empty. But by the time we are done in the next few minutes, you are going to see a website loading up here. So this my file manager now is empty. And this is my cPanel. So I want to replicate exactly, you know, my assumption is this. I want to see how to hack in into Uniport sites. So what ethical hackers do you have to understand how that platform works first. So I want to now understand how the WordPress platform works before I now, and this process can take maybe months, weeks, even years, before I finally go for my target. So on this cPanel, I am seeing WordPress management. And on the cPanel, there's what we call, yes, there's WordPress management here. I can click on the WordPress. Since I want to deal with WordPress, I'll click on it. It has opened. So I'm being asked, do you want to install? Do you want to install a fresh copy of WordPress on your system? Remember, this is what you see is what you get, meaning you just have to be following the buttons one after the other, not too much complications there. I'll click on install. It will come up asking me, where do you want to install this website? I'll click on this, zenape.com.ng. It will ask me, what do you want to call this site? I'll call it Cyber Security Year 2 class. Site description, this is a template. This is a template. It will ask you what will be your admin username to log into the website.
There's data inside. Yeah, the number. Thank you.
So what will be your admin username to hack into the website? Now, what information has this given us? Remember, we talked about Uniport website alone. At that point, you don't even know that that website will probably have a username and password to access it. Am I right? So studying WordPress now, WordPress is now telling you there is actually a back end to that website. Because now you are trying to replicate how they came about building that site. So in our own study now, installing WordPress, you have gotten one information, that every WordPress website have an admin login platform. Are we following? So if you are taking notes somewhere, it means as part of your notes, you have noted that, let's assume the title of the note is how to hack a WordPress site. That's the title. Key findings. Number 1, admin panel. I've noted it down. I've found out that there must be an admin panel with a username and a password. So let's continue. So what username should we give to this? Let's notice something. What username came up at first? Class, let's look at the screen. What username came up there? That is a very important point for an ethical hacker or a hacker. What is the point noted there? It means that for WordPress websites, by default, it is usually what? Admin. Are you seeing it? And that means for the framework called WordPress, by default, the username is always admin. And if you are thinking the same way I'm thinking, nobody likes stress. Meaning that, Cosweb, please note that name. Come and take the time to listen. So the username is usually admin. So if you want to hack a WordPress site from the back end, it now means that you have little work to do. You just have to now start fighting or brute forcing the password field with the first assumption that the username is admin. Only when admin does not work, that is where the problem now begins. So username is usually admin. And I'll tell you the truth, most web developers, they don't have time to start changing this username. They'll go straight to work on the password. So let's still leave it as admin. For the password, let's just call it class at 2025. That is to have access to, this is our own password, to have access to it, class at 2025. At this point in time, we have not yet known the URL to log into the back end. We are just following up little by little. So I'll continue. I'll see advanced options. Please, for our own class, always click advanced option. This is the reason. Let's click it. Advanced option has shown you something else. It has showed you that every WordPress website always have what is called a database. There are some websites that don't have databases. They'll just build it and just host it without having a database. They just put the HTML files. Once you open it, it will open. So each file leads to another file by linking themselves. But content management systems, most of them usually have a database. So you have discovered something else now. Number 2, WordPress sites always have a database. Let's go on. Number 3, please, you have to be very, very attentive to these things. Number 3, WordPress databases will always start with a 2-letter word called what? What are we saying? WP. Called WP. That is very important. WordPress databases always start with the username and name beginning with WP. So if you are now thinking like a hacker, then an ethical hacker, then you are now asking secure site, you will now advise your clients that don't always use the default database name or table prefix that comes when you are installing a WordPress site. Always delete it and use something else. Maybe CLB34. Maybe this I can delete it and put something else. By doing this action alone, you have added the security of that WordPress site, because WP is common knowledge to all WordPress developers. Are we following that? The same thing has to do with admin. So when I'm done, I can just say, then see one other thing. For content management system, you would always see an option to automatically upgrade plugins, automatically update themes, then do not auto upgrade. How is this a security implication? Who can tell us? How is this option useful for our knowledge? Auto upgrade, do not auto upgrade. How is it useful for us as cybersecurity students? Anyone? Okay. He has answered in first semester. We talked about bugs and software patch. Do you remember that? When we say that the vendors of softwares, they will always come up with patches. So ticking automatically upgrade, it will mean that if there's a vulnerability found on that plugin and themes which you are not aware of, please automatically apply it without my knowledge. But for those people that like buying cracks, maybe for the WordPress theme, we saw last week the Uniport theme is sold for $50-something dollars. Some of you may go through the back door and buy that same theme, and you don't want the vendors to know that you have bought that theme. Of course, you won't tick automatically upgrade, because if you tick automatically upgrade and it's upgrading, it will disable your website when it finds that you are using a pirated copy of the site. But it's usually advisable to automatically upgrade the plugins and themes. So I'll install, I'm done with those checks, I'll install it. Congratulations, the software was installed successfully. WordPress has successfully installed at this and this. Very, very interesting. We have found out something else. We have found out something else on this site. Who can tell me what we just found out? URL of the admin. URL of the admin. Let's try something now. That means URL of the admin is what? /wp admin. Let's try something. Do you know what just happened now? An error. Why that error came is because at least the developer that did this know that people will be trying to find out what platform he used to build that site. So he put in a plugin to reroute any request coming in on WP admin to show an error page, meaning he has tried to give you tough time if you want to hack in to that website. But curiously, Punch newspaper, a very popular newspaper that we read, their WP login details is exposed. It's already exposed. And this is what hackers and ethical hackers like. Because you have passed a very important stage of your test. If we give you this in exams and tell you to find various vulnerabilities or maybe to find backdoors, gateways to a website, this is very important because I've been able to discover that they use WordPress for building these sites. So you just need to know the framework, and once you put /wp admin, you have discovered the back end. There are some sites, let me show you one. I don't think this one was built using WordPress. It should have been built using another CMS tool called Joomla. Let's confirm it. Okay, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, this is still WordPress. This is still WordPress, I think so. Let me confirm. We have found another website that is WordPress based. So we have gotten this information after installing this. So let's now visit the website. Let's see how the website looks like. Let's see how the website looks like. This is the website. It's now left for us to start modifying the content of the website. Remember what I wrote here? Cybersecurity hacking class, and this is the WP admin platform for the website. So I want to log into the back end. Okay, this is how the back end of the site looks like. These are the back end of the site of the WordPress site looks like. So let me now digress and go to how do they call it? Let's go to the cPanel. Now we have successfully created a website like this. Let's go to the cPanel. Remember the cPanel, that's the cPanel that has the file manager and phpMyAdmin. Let me now open the file manager afresh. I'll click on it, file manager. You can now see all the files that I've loaded that pertains to the website. You can confirm these are the files that pertain to the website in this file manager. Now, of interest to hackers are what I told you about FTP accounts. Remember I said we are just dealing with admin panel, the hosting, we are dealing with file manager, the hosting, then FTP accounts. Let's see how FTP account works. So I gave these sites to Isaiah to develop. And instead of him to just bother with WordPress, he's not thinking, I want to hack this website in future. So he goes here, clicks on FTP account, he clicks on FTP account to create a new account. Someone have created an account here, so I want to delete what was already created. So let's create mine. Okay, so let's create my own FTP account now. The username, I'll call it CYB class or CYB Aka. Let me call it this name, CYB Aka. The password, I'll still give you that same password, class at 2025. The next password, class at 2025. Then this is the directory. Please, let's look at this. When we are talking about directories, we are talking about folders. Let me open my system. We are talking about folders in a laptop. Remember this. Every one of us have systems. And on your system, you have drive C. On your drive C, you click users. On your users, this is mine. I'll then click my documents. What is it creating? It is creating several routes, several paths. If you look at it, up there is telling you that clicking this PC will delete you to my drive C. Drive C leads you to users. User leads you to a folder called Daniel. Daniel leads to a folder called documents. Hope you know that on your phones, file manager. So what that means is this. If I come here, it is now telling me if I want to visit documents, I can simply, let me copy this and paste somewhere visible. I can simply go to my root folder and type C:/users/document and it will open my document. Let's confirm it. I'm here now. I'll just open a new tab. I want to go straight to documents. I'll open a new tab and paste and press enter. It has opened my document. Have you seen it? You can try it on your system. So by implication, this brings us back here. By implication, me as the hacker, the system is asking me, what folders do you want to have access to, or do you want to create your own folders? I say no, I need access to the root folder itself, meaning I need access to drive C itself. Just give me access to this. I'll find my way through. So I will then click create. It's creating the account. So it's telling me accounts created. I'll take my username, very, very important. This is my username to my FTP account. Remember the password, class at 2025. I'll go to my email to copy something that is also very important. The IP address of that hosting is very, very important. I'm thinking this should be the IP of the hosting. I'll copy it somewhere and keep. Now let us log in to that file manager without visiting this cPanel. Let's log in. To log into a file manager, there's a software called FileZilla. You can Google it. It's called FileZilla. FileZilla is a software for FTP. That is, it's used to log in to FTP accounts. I have it on my system already. So I'll just open it, FileZilla. FileZilla is asking me, what is your host name? The host name is usually that IP address. What is your username? Username, we created it already, which is this. I'll put in my username. What is your password? I'll copy the password and paste. Port number. Last semester, I gave us a picture with various port number for various services. Who can tell me the port number for FTP? Who remember that? Who is saying? Who is talking? How did you get it? You got it. Who else knew it was 21? Please, let's be following up these things. So remember, I told us last semester, what we are teaching is follow up. We will not be going backward. So try and go back and read what we did. IP addressing, subnetting and all of that, because we are only moving forward. So for FTP, the port is always port 21. By implication, if as an ethical hacker you get a job in this company called zenapet.com and you are trying to block out hackers from accessing your company's resources, meaning that you have to block port 21 if you don't want FTP access to your website. Once you block it, you have shut out someone like me that is now trying to use FTP to access your site. But let's assume it was not blocked. I'll click on Quick Connect. Let's see the magic that will come up now. Could not connect. Let's see the reason. Probably the IP was not correct or some other thing. Yes, the IP was not correct. See the IP here, 91. This is where we get. That means they changed the IP from that year I was given this platform. So let me put the correct IP and type Quick Connect again. Are you seeing the connection established? See what is happening? I'm waiting for it to give me the contents of that file manager. That's what I'm waiting for now. It is meant to list the contents of that file manager directly on my laptop. Please, have you seen it on the screen? Have you seen it on the screen? Let's look. It has opened everything on that cPanel. It has opened everything on that cPanel. So let's keep navigating. So this is my stage 1 of trying to hack into that website since I created a backdoor. The backdoor for now is the FTP detail. You can see this. Now on this cPanel, this index file is responsible for loading content of that website. Index.php, normally you will get to know about it later, but I'm just trying to explain something. Index.php is the file that is used to display the home page of that website. So I want to do something. I want to delete it. The left hand side is my own laptop. So let me open my laptop. I want to put that index file somewhere. I want to put it somewhere in my laptop. So if I delete it, I can restore it. So index.php, I've moved the file to my system. We are going to confirm two things. We are going to confirm if that file is actually on my laptop. Let me open my laptop now. Documents, I put it here. You can see it is on my laptop. Now I want to delete it from that server online. That server is online. Me, I'm just on my laptop on my FTP. I've deleted it. Let's see what has happened. Let's visit the site now. I've been able to achieve two things. I have taken that site offline. I started taking it offline. I've now made that site to display all the information that is not meant for public knowledge to be displayed on the home page of the site. If I go to the file manager, let's see what I did there. Okay, now let's try infiltrating that website. Let's try infiltrating it. Let's try infiltrating that website. So I want to copy something from my system and put on that site. Okay, I want to put in our course outline. I want to put our course outline on that online server. So let's confirm online if it is there. I've done it on the FTP through the FTP. Let's confirm if it is there. Please, can you see it? That means I'm there at the back end, not having access to the cPanel anymore. But by simply creating or having an FTP account, I am injecting, you now call it, I'm injecting files to the website. So what if I want to inject what we call a malicious script? I want to tell attackers, I've had access to your website. What next can I do by having access to your website? Let me use ChatGPT to do this for me. So see what I'll type to ChatGPT. So I'm telling it that I want it to help me create an index.php file. Why did I tell it index.php? Because I realized that the one I deleted was called index.php. And index.php seems like it controls what shows on the home page. So see what I want to tell you. Just watch me doing it. So see what I told ChatGPT, help me create this file, and the content should be you have been hacked by the cybersecurity year 2 class. Make it bold and red, and also say contact me for more information. So I want to So I've told it to add audio effects. Let's see if it can add it. Okay, so it has done it. So let me transfer it. See what I now want to transfer it to that website. So I'll go to my downloads folder. And copy these 2 files to that website, to the cPanel of the site. I've copied it there. So let's visit the site and see what we have done. Can we see this? So these are samples of things that usually happen by just some carelessness of web developers. So by doing this, we have successfully seen that you can hack a CMS website if you follow maybe some kind of protocols. So I've been able to put in this. In fact, once they see this, they'll start thinking, how did this page even come about? Because when they created the CMS site, they may not even know that index.php file is, would we say, the most critical file on that file manager. They may not know. So by the time they even start searching for how to remove this, thousands of people have already seen this, and you have achieved your aim. So that is why we said you have to learn these frameworks. Assuming you see this now as a cybersecurity specialist, or you are working as an ethical hacker. By what we did last week, they asked you, someone just come and meet you. My site has been hacked, How much will you charge? Like just yesterday, 2 days ago, I got a message that can I check a site that have been hacked. I told the person, send me the site before I price you. The guy said, but you said $5,000. I said, no, send me the site first. What do I want to do? I want to first of all, what I told you last class, inspect. Do you remember that? By inspecting, where will I go to again? Application. Sorry? Then I can go to network and try to do refresh. So that by refreshing, I may try to know exactly what kind of sites I'm dealing with. So when I check all those things now, it will now tell me the one, if it was a WordPress site or not. Do you remember what we did last time? So if it's a WordPress site, I will then check exactly where this person got this file from. And by looking at this, I'm seeing that this guy just got one audio and put on the website. He just got one audio and put it there. That means I just need to remove that audio and probably remove the WordPress PHP file. I'll say, do you have access to your cPanel? He say yes. Share it with me. It will take minimum of 72 hours. They may then tell you, can you do it faster? You start speaking jargon. I need to buy hosting from so and so country, buy dedicated IP address, buy this, buy that. You give them the bill for 24 hours service. This what? Can't you do it within 1 hour? This is a school website. You give the bill for 1 hour. Simply go to the cPanel, delete the index file, delete the other one. Go to WordPress. You know it was WordPress. You now install WordPress on another server. Copy the default index file and put on this one. Check for the template they use and now start modifying the template with the previous content. You now go maybe to the PHP and start modifying all those stuff I say should not be like that, and you are done. You get money and you are gone. But for now, for this class, the most important thing is this: you must try to understand frameworks of platforms before you now start learning how do I act on this framework. Do we get that? So when we come tomorrow, we will now see how these same attackers going to the PHP end to modify login content. Now for this file, we can access this file. How do I access it? I'll simply copy the name. Remember, I pasted this. In fact, I have taken over this people's website. I now tell people to access my course content. Just go to that site and type the name, and you can download my course material or my course outline. I've taken over that website already. So I'm now doing whatever I want with that particular website. Did we enjoy the class? Any questions?